Sideline guys, Adam Schinder and Mark Robarch back once again on RecorderNews.com. And Mark, it's the holiday season, so I guess we figured it might be a nice time to hand out some presents to some local sports figures. We got a couple each we want to give out. So who do you have a gift for tonight?
Well, welcome to the Christmas edition. First of all, we pulled out all the stops, lights, and everything for this. So happy holidays, everybody. First gift I want to hand out is to our old friend Craig Phillips out in Fort Plain. People who know the story of Craig Phillips know that this is the guy who just cannot retire. He's on his third time now, I believe, and he's back behind the bench. So for Christmas this year, we're going to give Craig a yo-yo. As I joked with him when basketball practice began this season, I told him, I said, Craig, this is the third time you've tried to retire and the third time you've come back. So the next time you retire, I don't care what it is, I'm betting the under.
For me, I got a gift for another basketball coach right down the road in Fonda Fultonville, Eric Wilson. The Braves had so much turnover from last year's sectional championship team that I'm going to give Coach Wilson a set of name tags and a Sharpie just so he can know who these guys are. He's had some good success with them so far, but now he'll be able to make sure he knows who each and every one of his players are this season.
And by the end of the season, I'm going to guess that we're going to know who most of them are. There's a lot of talent on that team. They had a tough night Friday night in Waterville, but that's part of the growing pains. He actually told me that he kind of expected something like that to happen at one point in the season. So let's see if they can grow on that. My other gift is I want to give it to Tucker Gifford, the coach up at Broadalbin Perth. I was up there on Tuesday night as they beat Gloversville to move into first place in the Foothills Council, but more importantly, to pick up their first home win of the season. Coming into the game, they were 3-2 on the year, 0-2 at home, 3-0 on the road. So as my gift, my Christmas present to Tucker, I'm going to give him some interchangeable team logos that he can put at center court so that instead of having to look at that BP logo when his kids are playing home games, they can look at whoever the opponent is and maybe they'll just fool themselves into thinking that they're actually on the road and play a little bit better.
And for my last gift, we're going to leave basketball for wrestling. Saturday, I was at the Montgomery County Duels at Amsterdam High School, and I can tell that the Amsterdam High team, they have a lot of talent. They just need some experience. So for Amsterdam head coach Ken Benton, I will bend the laws of physics and give him a time machine.
Not a hot tub time machine.
No, just a regular time machine, maybe a DeLorean, get it up to 88 miles per hour.
Nice.
And we get up there so that he can have just some time to get these guys a little more seasoned because they've got a lot of freshmen, sophomores, juniors, even a couple of 7th graders on this team. When they get some experience, this could be a team that measures up to the teams they've had the last couple of years.
No problem that a flux capacitor can't cure.
Absolutely.
All right, shifting gears to wrap it up this week, we want to, of course, give you our top 5 boys high school basketball team for the weekend. I'll start out by just ripping through mine real quick. I basically got the same 5 teams I had last week, just kind of shuffled the order a little bit. Mayfield stays number 5 for me despite losses Friday to Spa Catholic and Tuesday night to Fort Plain because, I mean, frankly, they lost the games to the 2 best teams in the WAC North, so I don't really see them losing position much. Amsterdam number 4, I believe I had them there number 4 last week. I still have them there this week despite some pretty tough losses to CBA and Schenectady last week and then a loss Tuesday night to Bishop Gibbons. This is going to be a critical time for this team. This is the big losses and then the loss last night. A lot of teams would tank after seeing losses like this. I still think they've got a little bit in them. I think Joe Agresta will get them going again. Number 3, I dropped Fonda Fultonville down to there based on the loss to Waterville. It was a tough loss, putting only 19 points on the board. Same situation as with Amsterdam. Let's see how they respond to this because it could be a situation that puts a team in the tank. I don't think that'll happen. Eric Wilson's a good coach. These kids are good kids, a lot of character. I think they'll rebound from that as well. Number 2, Fort Plain just keeps rolling along. They've got a big showdown coming up on January 4th at Spa Catholic, which will probably decide first place in the WAC North. In the meantime, they just keep cruising right along. And in the number 1 place, Adam, you made me a believer. After seeing Broadalbin Perth last night against Gloversville, I got to agree that they're the best team in the area. Of course, they've got a couple of good young players. Give me names because I'm horrible with names.
Tyler Wood, RJ Pindator, Matt Gage, Tom Mittler. It's a 4-headed monster. They really go deep on that team.
And that's the point. I mean, everybody talks about the two guards that hoisting up all the threes, but last night I found that they got so many different kids that can step up when need be. It's a good team, and they're on top of the Foothills Council, and I don't see any reason to think that they can't stay there.
Yeah. For my top 5, I've got some slight changes from last week. Number 5, I'm going to go with the Cougars from Canajoharie. got a bit of a rough start off to the season, but a big win last week at Burnnox Westerlo. This is a team that always plays good defense. They're kind of evolving into their offensive rhythm. I think they're a team that in a very tough WAC South with Schenectady Christian, with Schoharie, could contend as the season moves on. Number 4, I'm going to go with Amsterdam. It was a tough loss last Friday that I saw at CBA, 77-44. 3 straight losses now. They're 2-3. They get a little chance to rebound next week. They're in Gloversville for the Gloversville Holiday Festival against Johnstown and Gloversville. Then they head back into league play. It's a tough road to hoe, but this team, if they can just avoid turnovers and mistakes, they will be a team that's going to be close to 500 by the time the season ends. Number 3, I'm still leaving them there for now, is Fort Plain. I'm leaving them there pretty much until after that Spa Catholic game. If they can beat Spa Catholic and establish themselves as the clear favorite in the WAC North, they'll move up. For now, I just will I'm going to give some credence to these Class B teams right now. Number 2, pretty much solely because of their good start, including the win at Broad Alban Perth, is Fonda Fultonville. Obviously a tough loss to Waterville, but that was a revenge game for the Cannoneers, coming off the loss last year in the Class B title game. And number 1, I've got to go with Broad Alban Perth as well. 3 straight Foothills Council wins against Class A teams, 2 of them on the road, beating Gloversville, who always plays well on their floor. This is a team that's reminding me very much of their 2009 Class B title team. RJ Pinjator, Tyler Wood are very reminiscent of Brian Blake and Shane Hathaway. Tom Mittler, Matt Gage are very much comparable to Robert Norgard and Justin Boyles, who were their big factor on the inside in that title run. It's going to be a very interesting season. The Foothills Council is wildly unpredictable this season. There are a lot of very good teams. You know that Scotia Glenville is going to be better as the season moves on, and they're going to want back at Broad Alban Perth for beating them on their home floor last week. But right now, the Patriots, with Tucker Gifford doing a great job with that team after the early 1-2 start, they're my number 1 team.
And that'll do it for us. Happy holidays, everybody. We'll be back next week. We are the Sideline Guys. Hope you have an enjoyable Christmas and Happy New Year.
Thank you very much.